All right, so it is a rainy morning here at the South Coast home. I want to take a few minutes to sort of go over the air sealing details, our air sealing strategy for the envelope here at the South Coast home. So basically, starts from the ground. Well, really starts from the slab. So once we got the slab done, we were ready to start framing. The first thing we did was at that sill plate, which is where your first board meets that slab. We went ahead and caulked that, so that's going to help us with air sealing as well as bug sealing, which is a big thing here on the South Coast. We got a lot of bugs, a lot of critters that like to come into houses. So basically what we did was we took a caulk product, a sealant of sorts, and we went ahead and ran a bead on the slab, put down our foam sill sealer, our capillary break. The primary purpose of that foam sill sealer is to keep moisture from going, keep moisture from going from that slab into that sill board. So we did the caulk on the slab, the sill sealer foam on that caulk, and then another bead of caulk on top of the sill sealer, and then our sill boards or our rim boards went on top of that. So we're sealed from the slab to the sill sealer and then to the actual sill, that first piece of framing that starts off on the slab. So we're covered there. That's one layer of sealing we have there. From there, the sheathing we're using is the zip system sheathing. It's a factory applied moisture and air barrier, so not using any sort of Tyvek or house wrap. It is already applied to the boards, to the OSB that we're using as sheathing, and then all of those seams get taped. So every joint between boards gets taped, and that tape then gets rolled. For the zip system, you have to roll that tape to get the adhesive to stick properly, to bond with the actual OSB material. So all of the seams, after all the sheathing's put on, all of the seams are taped and rolled. So we got all of those joints covered. That's how we're air sealing the joints in the sheathing. We did a detail at the soffit and fascia where we basically we use zip system for the underlying fascia or underlying soffit boards as well. And so we did the zip system tape in that corner between the wall and the soffit, and then we also taped the soffit to the fascia board and then the fascia board to the roof sheathing. Roof sheathing is also zip system sheathing on our build, so all of those seams are taped all the way up to the ridge. So basically we have a continuous zip system, fully taped sheathing envelope from the very bottom of the wall all the way up to the ridge, taped all the way around the soffit. That's given us our maximum air sealing and water sealing as well. Down on the actual bottom of the zip system, our initial plan was to have the slab done to where that bottom board met flush with the outside of the slab. That bottom piece of sheathing would be flush with the outside of the slab. Unfortunately, just with the way the slab was done, there are areas where that bottom board is a little offset from the slab. So there are some gaps between the bottom of the sheathing and the concrete slab itself. And so the way we combat that was both using a liquid applied flashing as well as a tape. So I think the liquid applied flashing we used was a Prosico product. I believe it's called R-Guard. And then over the top of that, we went with a Fentrum tape. I forget who makes the tape itself, but I think it's Sega, maybe. I think Sega makes this Fentrum tape. And so that tape basically goes from the bottom edge of the zip sheathing and tapes directly to the concrete of the slab, or in some cases, the chain wall. So basically we have a continuous air and water sealing barrier from the slab all the way up to the ridge. That is our primary air sealing strategy. And then once we got all of that done, and all the penetrations are made for plumbing, electrical, HVAC, all that sort of stuff. Those penetrations are then sealed as well. So for those penetrations, we used a combination of spray foam, closed cell spray foam, and tapes, as well as some liquid applied flashings. So you can sort of take a look at these different spots and different sort of scenarios where we got all of those penetrations sealed up as best we could. And then for the windows we're doing a liquid applied flashing on the basically the sill board. I don't know if that's actually the technical term for it, but the bottom of the window opening, the rough opening, most of them got a liquid applied, and then the sides are getting taped. Once the windows get installed, we go around the top and the sides with tape, leave a little bit of a gap on the bottom of that window just in case any water does happen to get between the window and the sheathing, or the window and that sill board. It's able to run out and dry to the outside of the building. Once all the windows are fully installed, we'll come back with backer rod and caulk on the inside and get them sealed up, do our final air sealing of the windows from the inside. Other than that, it's mainly just taking our time, going around, making sure we get all the penetrations sealed up. The guys have been doing a fantastic job at that. Every time anything gets punched through the wall, it gets painted with a little shot of spray paint, so the guys know to come back and go back and seal that up. There are some other strategies you can do for air sealing. One thing we looked at doing was a aero barrier system, which is basically where latex sort of caulk product gets aerosolized in the house. The house is put under a positive pressure with a blower door, and that aerosolized caulk or latex caulk product gets basically forced through all the tiny cracks and crevices of the house. We opted not to do that primarily because of budget. It is a little more expensive than we wanted to go with this house. Obviously, I would have loved to use that product, to use that system, but it is a costly system, and I think for the most part we're going to have a pretty tight house with the strategies that we've employed, and I think it's going to be a well built house, a tight house, and then we'll ventilate it as required. So we're going to wrap this one up here. Enough of my blabbering. We'll continue to make some of these detailed videos going over the construction and building science concepts that we are employing here on this build here at the South Coast Home. So if you like that sort of thing, click that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up if you like this video, and leave me some comments. Let me know if you know of any other air sealing details that we could employ. We're getting real close to getting insulation done. Oh, that's a whole nother thing. We're doing closed cell spray foam on all the roof sheathing, on the underside of the roof sheathing. So that's going to be another facet of our air sealing. Totally forgot about that. But we'll cover that in the insulation detail video. So, like I said, click subscribe for more of these videos. Hit that thumbs up. Leave me some comments. We'll catch you next time down here at the South Coast Home. Y'all have a good one.